Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. We've seen smart pullback in US markets on Friday. Nasdaq was up about 0.08% and the Dow was up almost about 0.8%. No other major data points from the US markets on Friday. European markets too were up about 0.1 to almost about 0.63%. Two economies reported much better than expected numbers, and that reflected in the way the DAX and CAC actually behaved as far as Eurozone is concerned. And when we look at the Asian markets today morning, Nikkei is up about 0.4% and Hang Seng is up almost about 1%, and SGX Nifty is also suggesting that we are going to open up about 20 points higher. In fact, Japanese markets were weak when they started off the trading, as the GDP data for the recent quarter that came in was below expectations, and they reported minus 0.3% kind of a growth, but there was a view that this was mainly because of the heavy snowfall and the overall economic growth is likely to be better, and which is why we are seeing some kind of an uptick in the Japanese markets. In terms of flows, friends, FIs were net sellers in the cash market to the tune of almost about 15 crore. The domestic institutions too were sellers in the cash market to the tune of 45 crore, and in the index futures we have seen FIs selling to the tune of almost about 168 crore. Back home, our markets on Friday, we had a very smart pullback in the last 1.5 hour of trade, and though the SBI numbers were not up to the mark, we had seen IT and some of the private sector banks actually rallying in that particular session, but the overall flow situation is not looking too good, and we have a vote on account today, so it remains to be seen what kind of triggers are we going to see from the finance minister's speech today. We shall take it up in our detailed update. On that note, let me invite Sadhana to take us through important F&O cues and ideas that we could have from the F&O side.
Good morning friends, let's have a view on derivatives. On Friday's session we have seen that after trading in a tight range, we have seen a recovery in last one hour of trade, and we have seen that market have snapped a session with a marginal gain of 0.88%. In this period we have seen that profits have taken away by market participants, as we have seen short positions were squared off by market participants, as 3.04 lakh shares were reduced in open interest and Nifty cost of carry increased significantly by 138%. On the PCR front, we have seen that marginal increase in put call ratio from 1.06 to 1.07, and we have seen that unwinding activity taken place in call strikes as well as put strikes. As we can see, 6,000 put option has seen unwinding activity in open interest front, and call strike of 6,200 has seen unwinding activity in open interest front. As Singapore Nifty is up by 23 points, our intraday support would be 6048, resistance would be 6120 and 6142, and there is no security in ban period today. And on Friday session, FIs were like in future and option segment. In option segment, they were net sellers of 350 odd crores. In futures, they were net sellers of 115 odd crores. In stock futures, they were net buyers of 97 crores, and in stock options, they were net sellers of 50 crores. Overall, our bias for the market is positive, as we are trading above weekly VWAP of 6050. Our lower range would be 6000 and higher range would be 6200. We might see intraday whipsaws ahead of union budget, that is vote of account, which is held during the day. That's it from derivatives. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, Castrol would be announcing numbers, and the net profit is likely to be about 120 crore. And also importantly, the finance minister is likely to present the vote on account today, where no major changes are likely in the direct taxes, as it's going to be an interim budget, but there might be minor changes in the indirect taxes, and the key things to watch out for would be the fiscal deficit number for FY14 and FY15. FY14, as we all know, that the finance minister had set a target of about 4.8%, and it's most likely to be achieved. But for FY15, what kind of targets is going to set is important. The expectation is that it's going to be about 4.3%, and more importantly, what kind of borrowing program are we really looking at, because last year the overall borrowing was about 6.29 lakh crore, and the expectation is that this number would be anywhere from about 5.8 lakh crore to almost about 6.3 lakh crore.